Picture this. A primetime live TV broadcast. The stage lights glowing, the cameras rolling, and the audience leaning forward with eager anticipation. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Mike Tindall, former rugby legend, royal insider, and husband to Princess Anne's daughter Zara, drops a line so outrageous, so brutally funny, that the entire studio gasps before bursting into laughter. The target? None other than Meghan Markle. And the phrase that detonated across living rooms worldwide? But before we continue, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more updates. The Duchess of Yacht. Yes, you read that right. Not Sussex, not Montecito Queen, not Hollywood Duchess. Instead, Mike Tindall, with a mischievous grin and impeccable comedic timing, crowned Meghan with a title dripping in satire. The Duchess of Yacht. Within seconds, Twitter, or should we say X, Instagram, TikTok, and royal gossip blogs were on fire. Memes exploded. Reaction clips spread like wildfire. One fan wrote, "Mike just ended Meghan's PR team in 5 words." Another quipped, "Even Harry's jaw probably dropped." But why was it so funny? And why did it sting so much? To answer that, we need to peel back the layers, from Mike's rowdy rugby days and his reputation as the royal family's resident joker, to Meghan's long and complicated history with the press, and the ever-growing divide between Hollywood sparkle and old-school royal tradition. This wasn't just a throwaway joke. It was a cultural moment, a flash of humor that revealed deeper truths, a roast that carried the weight of years of rumors, controversies, and tabloid wars. And perhaps most importantly, it was a reminder that sometimes comedy can cut sharper than any headline. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we dissect that one-liner, let's step back and understand who Mike Tindall really is. Because once you know his background, you'll understand exactly why he was able to say what others only whispered. Who is Mike Tindall, really? The rugby star who became a royal joker. If you were to create a character for a Netflix drama who blends brawn, banter, and a touch of royal chaos, you'd probably end up with someone suspiciously close to Mike Tindall. Most people today know him as Zara Tindall's husband, which makes him the son-in-law of Princess Anne and part of King Charles's immediate circle. But rewind the clock a little, and Mike wasn't attending royal banquets or wearing tailored suits in Buckingham Palace corridors. He was out on the rugby field, battered and bruised, charging headfirst into opponents while a roaring stadium shook with excitement. Mike Tindall isn't just some retired sportsman with a royal connection. He's a legend in the rugby world. As a former England player, he was part of the team that clinched the 2003 Rugby World Cup, a victory that etched his name into sporting history. Known for his rugged playing style, broken nose, he's had at least 8 nose fractures, and bulldog determination. Mike embodied the toughness of English rugby. Fans didn't just admire his skills. They loved his grit, his refusal to sugarcoat things, and, above all, his cheeky sense of humor. And here's the kicker. That humor didn't vanish when he swapped the rugby pitch for royal dinners. From sports fields to palace halls. When Mike married Zara Phillips in 2011, the royal family didn't just gain another in-law. They gained a walking one-liner machine. Unlike the stiff, cautious tone many royals adopt in public, Mike has always leaned into being real, blunt, and, at times, hilariously inappropriate. He once joked about having massive thighs and a big backside on a podcast, poking fun at himself. Another time, he laughed about the struggle of wearing morning suits at royal events, describing them as medieval torture devices disguised as fashion. And who can forget his podcast The Good, The Bad, and The Rugby, where he's dropped more casual insider tidbits about royal life than Buckingham Palace's press office would ever approve. Simply put, Mike never bought into the idea that marrying into the royal family meant sacrificing his personality. Instead, he blended his cheeky locker room banter with the polished image expected of a royal son-in-law. So when it comes to saying something outrageous on live TV, Mike is the least surprising candidate. He's never been afraid to test the line between humor and controversy, and Meghan Markle just happened to be in the line of fire this time. Why people trust Mike's humor. Part of the reason audiences didn't recoil from Mike's Duchess of Yacht jab is because people know where he's coming from. He's not a royal snob looking down on Meghan. He's not a tabloid hack spinning headlines for clicks. He's Mike, the down-to-earth sportsman turned family guy, with a pint in the pub kind of humor. That relatability makes him powerful. When Mike says something cheeky, people laugh along instead of clutching their pearls. He's the sort of figure who can get away with poking fun at touchy subjects, because everyone assumes his intent is laughter, not malice. And let's be honest. When you've survived professional rugby scrums, Princess Anne's withering glares, and the chaos of raising 3 kids, you probably stop worrying about whether a quip will ruffle feathers. The rebel spirit within the royals. Every family has that one person who says what others are thinking but are too polite to voice. For the Windsors, that person is Mike Tindall. Think about it. The monarchy is an institution obsessed with protocol. From bowing and curtsying to scripted speeches, the royals live in a constant state of PR-managed politeness. But Mike, who wasn't born into that system, isn't shackled by the same constraints. He respects the family, of course, but he's also the one who will sneak a wink, tell a story that makes others squirm, or throw in a joke that catches everyone off guard. It's this rebel streak, this willingness to laugh when others might scowl, that explains why his Duchess of Yacht joke wasn't just tolerated but celebrated. In fact, many fans online declared it one of the most relatable royal moments of the year. Why this backstory matters. Here's the big takeaway. To understand the sting of Mike's joke, you have to first understand Mike himself. Without that context, it's just another celebrity dig. But when you realize that this is the guy who smashed into Australian rugby giants without blinking, the guy who shrugs off tabloid chatter, and the guy who married into one of the most buttoned-up families on earth without losing his humor, suddenly the weight of the moment clicks. Mike Tindall didn't just roast Meghan Markle. He pulled the curtain back on a truth people rarely admit aloud. Humor is one of the last weapons royals have to humanize themselves, and sometimes to fight back against narratives swirling around them. And if you think this one-liner was shocking, just wait until we revisit the exact moment it happened on live TV. The setup, the delivery, the crowd's stunned silence before erupting into laughter. It was pure theater. The live TV moment that left everyone speechless. A roast in real time. Live television has a magic of its own. No retakes, no edits, no chance to hit pause and ask, should I really say this? Every word is raw, real, and permanent. That's exactly why what happened the night Mike Tindall let loose the phrase, the Duchess of Yacht, became an instant cultural sensation. It started innocently enough. The show, one of those lively panel programs mixing comedy, sports, and pop culture, had a relaxed energy. Guests joked, audience members laughed on cue, and Mike was his usual easygoing self. He'd already charmed viewers with his self-deprecating rugby stories and cheeky takes on fatherhood. Nobody in the studio expected the night to become royal history. And then the conversation shifted. The setup, from small talk to royal banter. The host, sensing the audience loved Mike's candidness, leaned in. So Mike, the presenter teased, what's it really like having Meghan Markle in the royal WhatsApp group? Cue laughter, cue side glances, cue the unmistakable smirk tugging at the corners of Mike's mouth. He was about to fire back. He leaned into the microphone, shrugged like it was no big deal, and dropped the line that sent shockwaves through the studio. Well, let's just say she's less Duchess of Sussex, more Duchess of Yacht. The timing was perfect. The delivery casual, almost throwaway. The punchline devastating. The silence before the explosion. For a split second, silence hung in the air. You could almost hear people blinking. The audience froze between, did he really just say that? And is it okay to laugh? Then it hit. The eruption. Some people gasped audibly, hands flying to their mouths. Others doubled over in hysterics. The host nearly slid out of his chair, clutching the desk as if trying to hold the show together. One cameraman was caught visibly shaking with laughter, the footage wobbling slightly on screen. It was a textbook example of what comedians call a room breaker. A joke so sharp, so unexpected, that it shatters the atmosphere in an instant. Meghan's ghost in the room. The brilliance of Mike's quip lay in the fact that Meghan wasn't there. She didn't need to be. Her presence hovered like a phantom over the room. a living reminder of royal controversy, Hollywood glitz, and endless tabloid battles. By labeling her the Duchess of Yacht, Mike wasn't just making a playful pun. He was evoking years of rumor, gossip, and whispers about Meghan's past. The kind of things royals usually pretend don't exist. It was both cheeky and cutting, funny and cruel, depending on where you stood. That duality, laughter for some, a wince for others, is what made the moment so explosive. The audience goes viral. Within minutes, audience members had their phones out, tweeting furiously. One clip uploaded directly from the studio audience racked up 500,000 views before the show even finished airing. Memes flooded TikTok. A yacht photoshopped with Meghan's face on the sails captioned Her Royal Highness of the High Seas. A fake Disney poster titled The Duchess and the Yacht. And my personal favorite, Prince Harry with binoculars looking lost at sea, searching for his Duchess. This wasn't just laughter contained within 4 studio walls. It was laughter broadcast worldwide. Harry's invisible reaction. Now, here's where the imagination runs wild. Harry wasn't in the room, but viewers couldn't help but speculate. What would his reaction have been? Would he laugh awkwardly, like someone who knows a joke has gone too far but doesn't want to seem uptight? Or would his jaw tighten, teeth grinding, furious at yet another dig at his wife? That speculation alone added another layer to the moment's impact. When a joke makes the world collectively wonder about the reaction of someone not even present, it has crossed into cultural commentary. Why this hit differently? This wasn't a comedian at a club roasting celebrities. This wasn't a tabloid headline twisting words. This was family adjacent. Mike Tindall is part of the royal fold, married into the Windsor clan. His comment didn't feel like an outsider's mockery. It felt like a wink from someone who knows the system inside out. And that's why it stunned the audience so much. If Mike dared to say it publicly, what were royals saying privately at family dinners? A punchline with consequences. The beauty and danger of live TV is that once something is out there, it can't be taken back. Mike didn't clarify, didn't soften, didn't scramble to reframe. He just let the audience react and grinned like a man who knew he'd just delivered a line for the history books. That grin alone became a meme. Screenshots spread across Instagram with captions like, Mike after ending Meghan's career in 5 words. But behind the laughter, tension brewed. Was this harmless banter, or a subtle royal swipe disguised as comedy? Where do we go from here? Moments like this don't just disappear. They ripple outward through social media, through dinner table conversations, through future interviews where Meghan's PR team will undoubtedly be asked about it. And the question that lingers, was Mike joking purely for laughs? Or was this a glimpse of what the royals really think of Meghan when the cameras aren't officially rolling? One thing's for sure. The phrase Duchess of Yacht isn't going away anytime soon. It's etched into the cultural lexicon, a punchline that will follow Meghan for years, whether she likes it or not.